joining me for video number 2 for eating math at home. I know today is a really exciting video day because it is the day where you actually get to eat what you are fixing and doing with your math at home today. So let's go ahead and go over a couple of things that you need to know before we ever begin our cooking process. One of the first things that I always do before I ever start cooking is I look to see, do I have all the ingredients? Because if I'm missing something, I might have to run to the store right quick, and what if they're all out of it and now I don't have it and I can't make it and everything I put in the bowl and it's ruined? And I don't want to do that. So let's check and make sure we have everything we need first. So I have my flour, I have my baking powder and my baking soda. Guys, they look very much the same when you open them up and look at them, but they do a very different job based on what you activate it with. So make sure you have both baking soda and baking powder. I also have my salt that I have, so I'm going to need to make sure I have my salt ready. I have my sugars all ready. I have applesauce. I like to use unsweetened applesauce, but whatever you have available is fine. I have my milk ready. I have my vanilla extract. If you want to use imitation, that's fine too, but the extract gives you yummier flavor. And then, of course, the main thing you need for chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chips. I have them all ready. So I have all of my ingredients. If you don't have all of them, make sure you go get them ready now. Now, if I look and I see, oh no, I'm out of something. I don't have sugar. Maybe I can use some honey instead. Oh no, I don't have chocolate chips. Maybe you have some candy you can use instead. M&Ms maybe even might work. I've even seen it done and tested it with Skittles. Not my favorite combination, but you can try whatever you want to and put it in there. Some of you may also have allergies. For example, maybe you can't have regular flour and you need gluten-free flour. That's an option for you as well. Maybe you just want to make it a little healthier and do it with whole wheat flour instead. Every bit of it, when you cook, is your choice and your option. I do recommend that you always follow the recipe the exact way the first time and then twist it and change it and make it your own. But if you have allergies, do what you need to. Now, if you do have allergies or you're trying to make it healthier, one of the things you can do is on the PDF, there's a place where you can click and it'll take you to some sheets that'll give you some options for substituting or maybe just other ways that you can make and get to that particular ingredient if you're missing it. Now, another thing that you'll see on the PDF is there's an extension for what you can do to find out if your food is healthy or not. You would need a brown paper bag, and you would then put maybe some of the things you're cooking and put them on there. Maybe you try it with different chocolate chips that you got from the store and you put them on there, or potato chips and put them on there, or maybe everything that's on your dinner plate tonight, put a little bit on the paper bag. You're then going to let it sit there for about an hour, then take it off of the paper bag, let it dry all the way, and see which one leaves the biggest, darkest circle. Whichever one leaves the biggest, darkest circle is the one that has the most oils and fats in it, which means it's not going to be very good for you. That's an extension option for you. Are you ready to get started cooking? Let's do it. First thing that you need to make sure that you do is you read through. We already checked the ingredients. Now let's read through what the instructions tell us to do. Now, I've already done this, but this would be good for you to read as well. If you haven't already done so, you can print a printable option of the recipes for you so that you can have those out. That's on the PDF where you can click for the printable option. My instructions say in a small bowl. I like to go ahead and use the mug that I am using, so that's what I'm going to do. We're going to mix all of our dry ingredients, then we're going to mix all of our wet ingredients all up, and then I like to throw those chocolate chips in very last after I mix it all up, but you can put it in there while you're still doing the wet ingredients. And then you're going to go ahead and you are going to put it in the microwave, cook it for 1 minute, 20 seconds, and then you let it cool before you eat it. I think those are all things that we can do, so let's get started. If you don't have a big mug that you can use at home, one of the options you might think about doing is using like an old cup of soup microwave or a mac and cheese microwavable cup. They are microwavable. You eat what's in there and then you wash it out, save it, and you can use it for cooking all these other mug recipes as well. Certainly an option for you. Let's get started. First thing that we're going to go ahead and do is get into our flour. We need 1/8 of a cup of flour. Now, if you did our conversions yesterday, one of the ones you might have found and discovered is that 2 tablespoons is the same as 1/8 of a cup. So if you don't have 1/8 of a cup, get out your tablespoon and do 2 tablespoons of it. Let's go ahead, since I have a 1/8 of a cup, I'm going to put it in here. And just like we practiced in video number 1, I'm going to level my flour so that I have a nice smooth flat surface on my flour, and I'm going to add that into my mug. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my baking powder. And again, be very careful the difference between baking soda and baking powder. So I'm going to get my baking powder out. The cool thing about baking powder is that it has this automatic leveling tool already on there. So I'm going to put it in there, get my scoop, and I'm just going to pull it off and level it right there. Now we have our baking soda. Our baking soda has 1/16. Now if you have a measuring cup or spoon that's that small, fantastic. I don't know that I've ever seen one. So instead, in cooking, what we call that is a pinch. It's not a huge pinch where you reach in with your hand and pull it all out. You're going to reach in just a little bit, just the tips of your finger, get just a tiny, tiny bit. It's not very much on my finger, just a tiny, tiny bit. And I'm going to drop that into my mug. I have to do the same thing with the salt. Now the salt's a little bit more difficult. I can't get my finger in there. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 1/8 of a teaspoon and I'm going to measure half of it. For how we double in half, you'll have to watch the next video. And that way you'll have more details. I'm going to take it, I'm going to pour over the top of my mug so I don't make a mess. I'm going to pour it and get about half of this 1/8 of a teaspoon in there. And once I have that, we'll then be ready to do our next step, which is to add the sugar. For our sugar, we need 3/4 of a tablespoon. Now again, I don't have 1/4 of a tablespoon, so I'm going to use the conversions that I had yesterday and go ahead and do instead 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to get my teaspoon out and I'm going to measure 2 teaspoons of sugar. So I'm just going to go in there, make sure it's nice and level, do 1 scoop, 2 scoops or 2 teaspoons are now in there. Now those are all of our dry ingredients. So I'm going to take my spoon, this can also be my eating spoon if I want, and I'm just going to stir it up. I want to make sure I can't see the salt and the baking soda all by themselves. I want to see it all mixed in together. Once I've done that, I'm going to just put my spoon to the side, and now I'm ready for my wet ingredients. For my wet ingredients, I'm starting with applesauce, and again, I usually use unsweetened, but you can pick and choose what you want to do. To measure my applesauce, my spoon or my cup will actually fit in here, but I don't want to make a really big mess. So instead what I do is I pour my applesauce into my cup. If I get it a little too full, I just put a little bit back into the container and then I pour it into my mug. Tap it out. The next one that we have is a tablespoon of milk. So I'm going to go ahead and get my milk and I'm just going to pour 1 tablespoon of milk into my mug. So I'm going to pour it into the tablespoon, add it to my mug. Now we're going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon, notice how I switched back to teaspoon, not tablespoon, of vanilla extract. This is going to make it smell so good. I'm going to pour that over top of my bowl, get it into there, and then we are going to do our stirring once again. So I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to stir it up. Now while you're stirring, make sure you don't leave any flour in the bottom of there. So I'll let you see a little bit of what mine looks like. So right now, this is what mine looks like. It's kind of a little bit droppy. It doesn't stick all the way. I don't have any flour that is on the bottom or the sides. It's all mixed in. Now, got my spoon real low. I'm gonna add the best ingredient, chocolate. I'm going to get my tablespoon, and it's okay if there's some milk in there. I'm just going to pour my chocolate chips into my tablespoon. Guess what we have to do again? Stir it up. Now you might be looking at this and saying, oh, Ms. Parker, I want a lot more chocolate than this. But don't do it yet. Wait till you cook it and eat it, see what it tastes like, and then decide if you want more chocolate chips for your next time that you make it. Once you tap your spoon off, you're ready for the very last step. That's going to be microwaving it. What I want you to know is that when you do microwave it, it is going to get hot. That's what a microwave does. So I want to caution you as you go to pull it out. I recommend that you get a towel or a pot holder or something, and when you pull it out, hold the handle with the towel or the pot holder. I'd also like to recommend that you wait for it to cool down. Don't put it in your mouth right away, you'll burn your tongue. So let it sit for a little while. When you think it's cool enough, go ahead, take a bite and enjoy it. Maybe you want to make it better a little bit by doing different things than chocolate chip, more or less chocolate chips, more or less sugar, whatever it is that you want to try the next time. Make sure you think about how you want to change it, how you want to make it better. Maybe you're looking at it and you're thinking, this is not enough. I need more. One of the things you can do is double it. To learn how to double it, watch our next video. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you in video 3.